LEGO has made over 14,000 unique minifigures in the span of 52 years. And yet, even with decades of experience, the designers are still struggling with one persistent problem: Star Wars Droid Minifigures. Today, we're diving into this major issue. And make sure to stick around, because I'll be showcasing two minifigures that are the pinnacle of this problem. One of them has had 10 redesigns, and LEGO still hasn't gotten it right. To understand the problem, we first have to take a step back to the year 1999, when LEGO debuted the B-1 Battle Droid minifigure.
So you can build authentic LEGO Episode 1 pod racers, command Gungan subs, pilot Naboo fighters.
A lot of thought went into designing these clankers. Made up of only 5 pieces, they managed to make it look accurate, fold up like they did back in Episode 1, and still be simple to build. And honestly, they nailed it completely. The fact that the same 5 pieces are still used today shows how ahead of its time the design really was. What the designers may not have realized though, was how versatile these new parts would become. Thanks to the generic look, LEGO reused them to create entirely new droid designs, a category of minifigures I will call the Brickbuilt droids. Now fast forward to 2002, when the first B2 series Super Battle Droid was released. Aside from the pearl sand blue color and having to pay $100 for one, what made them special are the custom torso and arm pieces. Just like the B1 droids, the new pieces were created for this minifigure. But unlike their tan brothers, the B2's parts were way more specialized, designed specifically to work only for this minifigure. This marked the beginning of a second design approach, one where LEGO used exclusive, highly specific pieces just for certain minifigures. I will be calling them partially molded droids, since their design also incorporates existing LEGO parts. Now you might ask, so what exactly is the so-called droid problem LEGO has? To put it simply, brick-built droids often just don't look right. Let me explain. Take the Treadwell Droid for example. Created with 18 LEGO parts, I think we can all agree that the minifigure is barely recognizable. The white arms look out of place, and a single rod element represents the support for the telescope, but crucially lacks the actual telescope itself. He lacks all the detail you would come to expect from a LEGO product, and even calling it a minifigure feels like a stretch. I can already hear some of you typing in the comments, so why would LEGO spend the extra effort for such an obscure droid? And yeah, I think that's fair. But then, there's this guy in minifigure form.
Up top.
The IG-11 minifigure, a fan favorite character from the Mando show. The first thing I notice is just how lazy his design feels. The reused torso and limbs make him look stiff and clunky. The printed head should be way shorter, and the shaping is very off too. For someone as memorable as IG-11, his minifigure would have been a perfect chance to finally update the Assassin Droid mode. I mean, his design looks so bad, he ends up feeling like a knockoff rather than a true LEGO figure. But before I talk about the minifigure with over 10 redesigns, if you're enjoying the video, please consider liking and subscribing. Now, let's get back to the video. But by a huge margin, the worst offender of this problem is the Droideka minifigure. Over 17 years and 5 to 6 major redesigns. LEGO, as of 2025, has released over 10 versions of the same droid. And somehow, every rendition of him misses the mark. Even more troubling, none of them manages to get the eye to look remotely similar, or have the ability to fold up into a ball. I mean they can, but I think you get my point. With this many failed attempts at the droid, I believe a custom molded piece could have solved the issue years ago. Especially one designed for the back or eye area, which LEGO has so desperately tried to perfect. But for whatever the reason, the design team seems dead set on only using existing elements for the build. And that is such a huge missed opportunity for such an iconic character in the Star Wars franchise. There are more examples, but I think you guys get the idea. There are certainly well-designed ones, and these characters encourage creative part usage, which is pretty cool. But due to the size of LEGO pieces, most of them tend to suffer the same design problems. Tell me down below what you guys think of the Brickbuilt figures. It's not talked about too much, so I want to know your opinion on them. So the solution is to make specific modes for every droid then? The quick answer is yes, and unfortunately no. Minifigures like the Tactical Droid and Magna guards are some of the most cherished minifigures in the community. Custom modes mean designers can include extremely fine details and tailor-made prints. LEGO never misses when it comes to the design of these droids. But this kind of quality also comes with a huge price. And I meant that literally. When we look at sets with minifigures and droids that have unique modes, it generally makes the set cost more, especially when compared to other sets released in the same year. It's not always about price per piece, but there definitely is a correlation, even if it's not super apparent. And this brings us to the Droid General himself. He's the absolute peak of custom mode designs, but he is also the pinnacle of the price problem. While other droids usually reuse elements in the design, Grievous is made up of 8 completely exclusive pieces. In turn, this makes him super detailed and accurate, but also, as you would have guessed, super expensive. In fact, this problem is so infamous, we actually have a name for it: the Grievous tax. Pretty much every LEGO set he's in feels overpriced, and it's hard to tell if that's because of the high production costs or some other reasons. Either way, with LEGO sets getting more and more expensive, I'm not sure if I can justify the possibility of an even higher price tag. Oh, and one last thing. As much as I like my Grievous minifigure, I have to point out that his design doesn't feel very LEGO-y. What I mean by that is, the lack of conventional parts or stud connections can make him feel like a third-party figure, especially when he's not equipped with his lightsabers. Alright, talking so much about droids, let's wrap up this video. So far, all LEGO droid minifigures fall into one of 3 design categories. We have the Brickbuilt droids, composed entirely of reused elements. We then have the partially custom molded droids. These minifigures have uniquely molded pieces, and reuses some other LEGO elements such as their limbs. And finally, we have the fully custom droids with fully exclusive pieces. General Grievous is the only one under this category currently. While I like the creative freedom found on Brickbuilt droids, and the level of details and accuracy from my Grievous minifigure, I think the second category with the partially custom molded droids is the sweet spot for droid designs. As LEGO prices continue to rise, I wish we can shift towards more droids with custom elements, especially ones that can replace outdated Brickbuilt characters like the Droidekas or Assassin droids. So that's the full picture, and where I stand on it. As consumers, are you willing to pay extra for custom molded elements, or do you prefer the creative and simplistic nature of Brickbuilt ones? Tell me what you think, and if you like any other breakdowns in the comments below. With that being said, thank you so much for watching. This is all figured out, and I will see you in the next one.